Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Flipgrid community conversation. We are so excited tonight to keep the conversation about mental health awareness, well-being, and self-care going. Fely, I know this has been something that us as ed leads on the team have been talking a lot about. We've been working on sharing resources, and it's something that's an area of focus this month during May, mental health awareness. And we know statistics share things like 1 in 5 adults struggles with mental health. And I'm so excited to have this conversation as we begin to continue to explore resources, tips, ideas, insights, practical tools you can take and use right away in your own life and in your learning community as well. So, Fely, how are you tonight, my friend?
Super excited to be here and bien contenta con esta conversación tan importante que vamos a tener. Nuevamente, buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches a toda nuestra comunidad. Un honor que estén aquí con todos nosotros. Bienvenidos and welcome to our community conversation. As Anne mentioned, my name is Fely, and again, I'm super happy to be here and for you to join us tonight. Just like you said, Anne, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, el mes de la salud mental, Anne. And we want to close out the month with another very exciting and informational conversation about mental health, where we will share even more insights and resources to support emotional learning for our community, by our community, and with a lot of love.
Yep, and with our community based in love and rooted in love. And we have 2 incredible guests to join tonight. Our friend Eric Garcia was not able to join us tonight. So Eric, we're sending some love out to you. Hope you are feeling better, my friend. And so we have 2 incredible guests. And if you tuned in a few weeks ago, you remember, goodness gracious, she is founded Whirly EDU and is an author of My Mama Says book and a passionate advocate and champion for mental health awareness and helping people of all ages understand emotions. So we're so excited to welcome Nadine Levitt. Nadine, join. Here we go. Let me get you on the show. How are you?
Hi, I'm so good. How are you guys? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you back. Could you do a quick intro? Tell us a little bit about you and your role, and then we'll add our other guest in.
Fantastic. So I'm Nadine Levitt, as you said, and I am the CEO and founder of an edtech platform called Whirly EDU, which is a performing arts. We make it easy to bring performing arts to schools. And I'm also the author of children's books, including My Mama Says Inside Me Lives a Village and My Mama Says Inside Me Lives a Superhero, which has a corresponding curriculum around it, all around social and emotional learning. I'm also a mother, and I'm super passionate about mental health, a big advocate for mental health and education.
Oh, goodness. And we're just thrilled to have you back on the conversation. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me
so much.
Awesome. And so we have another incredible guest we're going to welcome. Fely and I get to work with this gentleman, and when he came on the team, we were just so excited to learn a little bit more about him. Everybody, please meet and welcome our teammate at Flipgrid, Ajinkya Pinto. Hi, Ajinkya.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Very well. How are you today?
All good, all good. Super excited to be here, especially talking about this very, very important topic for all of us.
Yeah, agreed. And I think Fely and I had a pre-meet, just so you two know, and we're like ready to dig into this conversation. But before we do, Ajinkya, would you take a moment and introduce yourself to us? Tell us a little bit about your role, and then we'll get going.
Sure. Well, we all know that I work with Flipgrid and these amazing ladies on the call. So I have the honor to lead our customer success team for Flipgrid. So listening to all our community, ensuring that your voice goes back into the rest of our organization, supporting you and making sure that you have all the information you need to be successful on our platform. So, yeah.
So awesome. Thank you, Ajinkya. We are so glad that we get to work with you. And we're so glad that we have incredible friends and partners like Nadine from Whirly EDU. And my mama says, inside me lives a village, not only all about emotions, but superheroes too. I got to get that one because I have the emotions. Fely, let's get going with question 1. You want to kick it off, my friend?
Yes, my friend. And again, thank you so much for being here. People that are participating, our community members that are participating in our chat. We have people from San Jose, South Texas, Austin, Texas, Nevada, Seattle. Oh my God, from everywhere. So thank you so much for being here. And we're gonna go ahead and start with our first question. If you can please tell us a little bit more about your role and your passion, tu pasión for mental health, well-being, and or self-care.
I'll take this one. So I was, I talked to my parents about this recently. I think that something that was very formative for me and sort of really sparked my passion happened when I was going through law school. So when I was going through law school, my mom was very sick, and she had to be hospitalized, and was in a precarious situation. And it was sort of the first time that I saw my dad not being sort of the rock, like he was breaking down, and I felt like it was the first time that I saw my parents as not invincible, if that makes sense. And so I naturally I took on this role of I can't cry. I'm not going to deal with this. I have to be strong. I have to keep going. And so I did. I went all the way through law school and so on and so forth and just dove into my work. But I ended up really not dealing with the emotions. And what happened was it actually physicalized in my body. And I ended up with a hiatal hernia and 17 stomach ulcers. And I was really, really sick. And so I think that wouldn't have happened if I had better management tools available for me for my emotions, process my emotions, and therefore, manage the stress because life is stressful, but I think that was a hugely formative sort of, time of my life where I really wanted to ask, get some answers for how do I not have this happen again? So I think that was a big piece of it. I'm a total type A personality. I'm always moving. I'm always in kind of that fight or flight. I like being super busy. And I've been in really stressful jobs, whether it's in law school or as a tech entrepreneur or even, by the way, as a mom, it's like an incredible, talk about stressful. And I think because of that, I've always sort of really been passionate about making sure that my mental health is on a solid foundation so that my emotions are being processed right and that I'm dealing with all the stresses of life in the most healthy way so that I can also take care of others.
That's powerful to think about too. I'm resonating with not being aware of management tools when we were younger, or the conversation just wasn't prevalent about what you can do to take care of yourself in that way. So thank you for sharing, Nadine. Thank you.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that in my head, it was stronger to not deal with something, right? Stronger to not cry than the reality, which is it's much stronger to sort of identify and acknowledge what's happening to you, to allow it to be there, and then decide how you want to act after the fact. So
yeah. And so, wow. Yeah. I'm popping this on the screen because these are, folks in the community resonating. And already, we were so excited for this conversation. And I think it's just like real talk about mental health, right? So Nadine, thank you. Ajinkya, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit more about you and your space, mental space about these topics, because everybody approaches life differently, right?
Yeah. Very true. But I think what was just shared is so relevant. I think a lot of people don't even recognize what's happening to them, right? And what was just shared in terms of, I had stress, I had all of this going on, I had to deal with my emotions, and how that was then physically transpiring over a period of time or at different lens. So for me, I've been passionate about being physically active, dabbling in martial arts, doing all of that. But I think about, say, 10 years ago, health really started to decline. Stress was super high. I was doing night shifts pretty much for years, and my body and mind was just giving way, right? Saying enough. So I found Tai Chi at that point in time, and I practiced for till date. So it's, I think, more than 8 years now that I've been practicing. And I also restarted yoga in my life, something that I was introduced to as a kid, but never really understood it, went on with life, did all the things, and then it came back one day. But both have been extremely transformative for me as a person, and really helped me cope with how life is, understand life more deeply, right? So somebody really, really older than me once told me, saying, don't take life seriously. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean it in any negative sense. But I've come to understand that more, and I'm still understanding that, what that statement really, really means. And life is a cycle. Everything in life is cyclic, from birth to the last breath, and it goes on and on and on, right? And things, today it's this, tomorrow it's something else, and then there's something else. But I think it's super important to have tools that can help you cope with these better. Because life's not going to change, but you can change how you deal with it. How you go from reacting to it to responding to it. Yeah. And that's super critical. And both Tai Chi and yoga have done that for me, in terms of, hey, how does your breath and your state of mind connect? Yeah. And how do you work with one to, control the other? Imagine telling your mind to say, hey, hush, it's not going to happen, most likely. So how do you use your physical being, your body, your breath, to then tap into your mind and, being able to be that? A lot of people think about meditation and these aspects as asking the mind to quiet or become silent or stop functioning. Practically, it's not really possible for your mind to stop, right? Because it's built to do that, and it's doing what it's built to do. But how can you be that observer of your mind and not react to it? Just let it play its tape, right? And it'll automatically settle. So
I have to interject, because it's super fascinating to think about, like, how you interact with that, and all of the internal monologue and all of the internal feelings. And Nadine, we explored this in the conversation a few weeks ago, relating different emotions we feel to a different character and how we can engage and interact with that. So taking what you both just said and understanding the thought, the internal mechanisms that we're all dealing with, we've been dealing with a lot in 2020, extending into 2021. Everybody in the world has called pause, has called shift, pivot. So much has gone on. And as we think about this relating to stress or managing ourselves, I'm so curious from the both of you, how do you manage all of this or ensure that you're bringing in that mindfulness into your own life in the face of all the things that are going on around us?
Well, I think it's been a year of just incredible groundlessness and change, right? It's like everything that you've always known is suddenly gone. And I think what's just interesting about it is you've got to remember that we were born and our brains are programmed to recognize patterns, right? We're recognizing patterns constantly. and in order to try and predict what's about to happen. And that is actually just a basic survival skill that back in the day, that's what we needed. We needed to know, like, if you're going to go near a lion's cave, the likelihood is the last person that went there died. So let's recognize those patterns and so on and so forth. But now when you have those patterns disrupted, it causes that stress in your body, because now you have to figure out what's coming next. And obviously the pandemic disrupted it in a really big way. But I like to think of life as always changing. We are always in constant transition. There is nothing that is concrete. There's nothing that stands still unless you're dead, right? So while I can't control any of that stuff, I can't control what's happening in the world, but I can control my own conduct and my own rituals and my own behavior. So I think for me, what's really important is to build these patterns of behavior, these rituals or these daily habits that I'm in control of and that I can do. And I also think that a lot of it is I try not to make it too hard. So in other words, it shouldn't take too much of my time, because I'm already crazy busy, and I don't want it to be an added responsibility that then makes me feel more guilty after the fact because I didn't do my 90 minutes of yoga every day and my 90 minutes of meditation and my this. So I really do give myself a break and sort of say, okay, well, yoga's 3 or 4 times a week. Great. I think meditation for me is 7 minutes a day. But it's what's right for me isn't necessarily right for anyone else. And so I think you've got to find what's right for you. For me, it's just building those things that stabilize me into patterns, into daily habits, into things that I can count on that are going to be there no matter what. And then actually I wrote a blog. I'm not sure. I think I'm releasing it tomorrow on Thrive Global. But it's this idea that there are sort of a few different things that we can do that take less than 5 minutes that are just really good for mental health. And it's things like, if anyone wakes up with an alarm, please ditch it. It is the worst stress-inducing mechanism in the entire. Why wake up with this stress-inducing ritual? It's a terrible way to wake up. A much better way to wake up might be to replace it with a song if you can't ditch it altogether. If you can wake up with the sun, fantastic. But if you have to, wake up with something, then wake up with a playlist of different songs every day. And make them motivational, right? If you can. I think. And if you can do without, then start incorporate some music into the morning routine. Whether if you're making breakfast for kids or if you're making breakfast for yourself, put on some songs that are motivational that make you feel good in the morning. And for added bonus, actually, you can sing and dance your heart out, and that will release endorphins and oxytocin and dopamine as well, which are all the sort of feel good hormones. As I said, meditation's a really big one for me. So I do 7 minutes in the morning and 7 minutes at night, and that's perfect for me. The other one that's kind of interesting is consciously walking. And some people find it difficult to go out in nature. Like I'm a city girl, so you have to make a conscious effort to like go out into nature and hike or do whatever. But it's interesting to me that even a walk from my desk to the kitchen can be enough for me to consciously walk, notice what's happening to my feet, notice the sounds that I'm hearing, the things around me, my environment, and be super conscious, even for just that 50 or 100 steps to the kitchen. It's amazing how that will wake up your senses, so to speak.
Wow. Yeah.
And the last thing I think was journaling. So again, don't put too much pressure on yourself with like having to write screeds and screeds of pages into a journal unless that makes you happy. But for me, it's just a simple prompt. It might be rosebud and thorn, a look back in the present and what you're looking forward to, or maybe it's affirmations or something. Just something simple that you can do daily that just reminds you to plug in.
I love that. Those are easy, practical. You can start this immediately. It doesn't have this radical transformative thing you just have to start doing. You start doing it, and those are great tools. Ajinkya, I'm so curious, what are some of your go-to strategies?
Wow, those are some amazing shares, though. I'd like to Yeah, those are amazing shows, Nadine, and how somebody can really practically adapt to a lot of it. I definitely second Nadine on find something that really, really resonates with you as a person and what naturally brings you joy. Just imbibe that into your daily life, and that itself will create an environment of fun and joy for you, right? So yeah, for me, I'm a little bit on the other extreme because I spend a few hours a day practicing yoga, but that's a different journey, and that's really personal to me in how I do it. But I think one of the important things that maybe any of us can take from is watching our breath. Because our breath changes with our thought, our mood, our emotions. And if you are not conscious about how that's shifting for you, then you could be staying in a certain mood unconsciously. And there's a certain space that is getting created in your system chemically and physically, which may not be conducive for you over a period of time. So simple breathing, I think we do this naturally. When we're super tired, stressed, we would just go, whew, right? So it's a natural response. Yes. And you feel so good instantly, right? So how can you inculcate or shift your breathing as you go through the day to be more relaxed, deeper, and in tune? So you can simply try to use your abdomen. You see babies when they sleep, you'll see their little tummies going up and down, and they'll be, in this different magical world, giving you the smiles and doing all that. But can you create that for yourself, where you're using your abdomen to breathe in and breathe out all the time? And it's tough. But it takes some conscious effort over a period of time, but it will naturally keep you relaxed at a certain equanimous way that you can deal with different situations in your life as you go through work, anything. And over a period of time, you really build that as a subconscious habit that's happening to you. And you're, no longer trying to say, okay, breathe. So I think that's a great way. I've been really sharing that with many people, and that's been helping them to be more conscious about their breathing and just use that abdomen and that deep breathing to create that calm over a period of time in their life. So
Ajinkya, I want to ask, I think I might have DM'd you and said, could you lead us in a breathing exercise? Or, I know I sit at a computer all day long. I try and go on multiple walks. We have teammates, our good friend Jess, literally goes on a quick walk every hour. People have different tools and strategies for managing the workday or a day. So do you have a quick exercise you could lead us through in either a breathing exercise or something? And then Nadine, I'm so curious. I know you have been exploring the mindfulness emotion component with yoga, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. And I'm already freaking out because we're coming close on time already. So
sure. So I'll show a super simple one just so we can stay in the time frame. You can hold a certain gesture in your hand, which automatically helps your system by putting the tip of the thumb and the index finger together. Lovely. I love that you're already with me. Stretching the other three fingers, hold this with both your hands. Sit with your feet flat on the ground firmly and place these on your thighs, comfortable for you. Close your eyes. Keep your spine comfortably straight. Observe your body from toes to your feet, to your legs, to your hip, your torso, chest, shoulders, neck, and head. Simply observe your body. Let your body relax. Watch your breath as you inhale and exhale. Simply observe your breath. Simply observe your breath. Simply observe your breath. The only thing important at this point is your breath. That is what is keeping you alive, energized, and connected with the universe. Once you're ready, listen to the sounds away from you. Listen to the sounds away from you. Feel the light breeze on your cheek. At your own time, slowly bring your palms together. Rub your palms gently, warm them up. Place your warm palms on your eyes. Let the warmth transfer to your eyes. Take your time. Open your eyes behind your palms and slowly drop your hands.
I feel so much calmer, to be honest. Thank you for leading us in that guided meditation or breathing exercise. I think that's something I know for me, I explored at the beginning of this year. I did a 30-day meditation challenge. I had never spent time meditating before. Focusing on my breath, slowing myself down to zero, being mindful of that inhale, exhale, it does wonders. So thank you for sharing that and helping us explore something we can sit and do anywhere that we are, or stand and ground yourself somewhere. Thank you, Ajinkya. I appreciate that so much.
Thank you.
One of the things that it has worked for us, and I say we because I'm talking about my two boys and my husband, is writing at night, keeping a journal. So at night, and we started this right when the pandemic started, because it was a lot of negativity going on, a lot of different things, right? And stress. It was very stressful, not only for us, but also for my boys. So I said, okay, we need to talk about those emotions, because especially for boys, in my opinion, boys have a little bit of a harder time to voice their emotions and to be okay with them. So I said, okay, after we finish with dinner and washing the dishes and all of the craziness that happened before going to bed, we are going to have these thankful meeting that we're going to get together, and we are going to sit down, no phones, nothing. And we are going to be writing on a really nice notebook that I bought. And we are going to write down 5 things that we were thankful for that specific day. So we be keeping this journal, an everyday journal. And my boys were like, I don't know what to say. What are you thankful for? Well, I love dinner today. Then you're thankful for dinner. Say that. And it became a habit, and it has helped us tremendously. And it's been a beautiful experience, a family experience that now became a habit, that before we go to bed, we say 5 things that we're thankful for. And sometimes there are things like, my boys are like, I'm thankful because I had a great day today in school, Mom. Even though we're leaving this, we're home, and I want to socialize more with my friends. I'm thankful that I'm alive. I'm here. I'm breathing. I have all of these. I have parents, and we have had so many conversations, beautiful conversations, and beautiful ways for my boys to express, and my husband as well, to express their feelings. So for us, writing 5 things every day, 5 things that we're thankful for, has worked beautifully. So I wanted to share that too. We tried meditation. Sometimes my boys, I have to be like, we are going to meditate. Slow down. Their boys are active, but the writing has been amazing. Has been beautiful for the 4 of us.
That's amazing. I love hearing that practice. Nadine, I want to ask you, I'm just going to jump in and ask you. I know just before we went live, you were talking about how we can use habits like yoga or the practice of yoga to shift perspectives, if you will. So I'd love for you to share a little bit of insight on that, or one way that educators can explore that mindfulness for themselves or with their learning community.
I think building rituals, whether it's in the classroom, in your family, wherever it is, and again, keeping it simple. So for me, because I'm sort of always coming at things from an emotions perspective, because it's such a big stressor in our lives, you something happens, like an event happens, we feel emotions, they get hooked up with our thoughts, and they start to spiral, right? And in order to create enough space between the thoughts and the emotions and how we're actually going to respond, and we talked about this earlier, Ajinkya earlier talked about this, we need to be able to direct them. And I think that this idea of emotions having a purpose and using rewards or alarms in order to tell us that we're on the right track or on going in a different route, we have to refocus or have to protect something. Then when we take that in, and we can do this with rituals, it's like as simple as a mindful minute in the morning. So when your students come in, or when you are in a family, having 1 minute where you're like mindful, either with music or without music, just 1 minute to say, check in with yourself and see how you're feeling. We have this whole art project where you can easily make character sticks of all the different emotions that you're feeling out of popsicle sticks, which is really fun. So the kids then go and get their popsicle sticks and put them in their cup, which is their village. What's nice about that is it stops people from thinking of emotions as one at a time. If you just think of yourself as just being angry or just being stressed or being overwhelmed, whatever, and not all the other things, you're not hearing the messages appropriately. So we are all of those things. So I think the mindful minute is a great thing. It's a great start to the day as kids are coming in or after recess. It's a really, really easy thing, basically cost-free to implement, and letting the kids have some impetus, some part to play in creating those characters for themselves, I think is also really helpful. We also, I was talking earlier about some yoga cards that we were creating for My Mama Says. We have 30 characters, and so we made a pose for each character. And the idea really was that as you're holding a plank, which is anger, for example, you can shift it to a side plank to get a different perspective on that anger. What is it trying to change? What is it? What change is it trying to motivate in you, or what is it trying to tell you? And that's that shift. Or loneliness, the same thing. It's a forward fold, and so you've got to think about why you're feeling lonely. What is the connecting point that's missing in your life right now that you're needing? So. Those are some simple sort of rituals. But again, I think importantly, you have to be conscious of how and when you set those up, because nobody's perfect. And even though this is my huge passion project, this is what I talk about all the time, there are definitely moments where I react rather than respond, where I wish that I'd said something different or reacted in a different way. And when that happens, you've just got to let it go and use it like a real growth mindset, right? Which is to say, nobody's perfect. I'm going to use this not as a reminder of my failure, but as an opportunity to learn and inspire others. And so with that growth mindset, sort of saying, I like to share that with my kids. I like to share that with some of my teachers to say, you know what, I I had a big flub today. I really fell, or I did this, but I can cross one thing off the list that didn't work, and then how do you model for people how you pick yourself up? Because we all have moments where we don't feel like we did the best that we possibly could. We can't possibly walk into every situation feeling like we've done the best that we possibly could. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
So I think that's the other piece of it, is to sort of create a culture in a classroom or in your family where it's okay to not always be on form.
I love that. And that gives people the freedom to be and the freedom to grow forward. And that looks different every day. So thank you for sharing those insights. You referenced My Mama Says, and so I'm just going to preface this for the folks who are listening in. We're going to share just a few resources before we wrap from the Discovery Library, and I'm going to share my screen. So for those of you who are brand new to Flipgrid, we're a video communication platform by Microsoft that allows educators, families, communities to share their learning in creative ways. And as we've explored throughout this conversation, we all learn in different ways. We feel and express ourselves in different ways. And I think that's one of the things I love so much about Flipgrid is endless possibilities to share, showcase, and celebrate your unique voice. And we mentioned Nadine is an incredible partner inside of the Discovery Library. So when you're in your Flipgrid Educator account, Lead Learners Families, you simply click on that button that says Discovery, and you can scroll down and find ready-to-use topics and ready-to-use content from fellow educators, incredible partners. And I want to point out some featured collections we have. We are, of course, celebrating Mental Health Awareness Month during the month of May. So if you were to click on that blue icon, you will get right into a collection of topics from different things. And as this loads, you can see, goodness gracious, from building mental health to check-ins to self-care, practicing mindfulness, breathing and learning about being calm, self-confidence, exploring social emotional learning, SEL check-ins, so many incredible ready-to-use resources. And you simply click on one of them and choose that blue button to add your topic. But not only do we have that collection, I want to point out we have Nadine's featured collection, Learning Emotions with My Mama Says. So Nadine, if you could take a quick 30 seconds or something and tell us, what can we find in your collection?
All right, we use arts integrated activities, really fun interactive activities to start getting kids to not only just consume the content, but also to consume the content to fuel creation. So the idea is, can we teach them to identify emotions, to start reading body language, to create stories about it, really identifying your emotions, and then how to acknowledge your emotions and the importance of acknowledging, allowing them to be there and acknowledging the messages that they bring, right? And then the directing is that how to create the space between your emotions and your thoughts and so forth. So we use things like storytelling or art, a lot of sort of performing arts and also visual arts to do all those three things. So it's identify, acknowledge, and direct using arts integrated lessons and activities. Super fun, and I think the kids love it. So it's good to check out.
So incredible. So friends, again, these resources are available for you inside the Discovery Library, and you just go scroll in, jump into those collections. And I do want to give a shout out to My Mama Says, the book. I know, Nadine, we love having you share that content inside Discovery. Folks, if you're interested, definitely check out myMamaSays.com. Shout out to that. You have incredible resources available on the blog. And Ajinkya, your YouTube page. I love this. And true confessions, I haven't done a session yet, but folks, if you want to dig in more with learning about the practice of yoga, Ajinkya, you've got great content on here. Anybody could join in and do a class with you, right? Oh, hey, yeah, there you are.
So yeah, you can go in. It's structured in a way that pretty much anyone can practice, even on a chair or sitting down, wherever you're comfortable. And it's designed step by step, so you just follow that. And if you have questions, feel free to write to me. I have a website, just myname.com. And I'll be happy to have a chat at any point in time.
Oh my gosh. So mymomissays.com and ajinkyaPinto.com, definitely great resources. Friends, we are running out of time, so I am going to do a bonus lightning round, and I'm sneaking in one more question because I always love to sneak in one more question. I'm not ready for this conversation to end, but I want folks to be able to go enjoy the rest of your day. So bonus question, are you ready? What is one thing you are doing in 2021 to create space for you? Fely, you go first. Nadine, Ajinkya, and I'll end.
Definitely my spinning classes. That's my time, my 30 minutes. I enjoy it. I dance when I'm on the bike. I sing. It's my time. So I want to continue with that routine. I love it, and it's my me time.
I love it. Nadine, how about you?
I'm actually an opera singer, so I like to sing and dance, and that's sort of always been my soul talking. So that's where I create my space. I sing, I listen to music, and I dance.
I love that. We're going to have you sing for us sometime. I don't know if you're warmed up. If you're warmed up now, want to give us a quick note?
There you go. But yeah.
Wow.
That is it. Oh my gosh.
Fabulous.
That's so beautiful.
That was
Wow.
not warmed up, by the way, but I will next time.
And even if not warmed up, stunning. Like beautiful. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Ajinkya, how about you? How do you create space, or what's something you're doing in 2021 to create space for yourself?
Sure. My wife and I both have picked up cycling. So it's our space, and at the same time, we get our own space when we do it. And it's beautiful weather. So we've been doing that every week, trying to increase the frequency and go out there, stay safe, stay distant, but yet,
I love it. Well, one thing that's new for me, I did it once in 2020 and I'm carrying it over into 2021, is needlepoint of all things. And I'm working on a Golden Girls needlepoint right now. And what I have found is it slows me down to 0. And I'm sitting there very consciously focusing on what's in front of me and just grounding myself in being still, but creating something fun and silly at the same time too. So that's something that I'm going to continue to do in 2021. And friends, I have just absolutely enjoyed this conversation. I appreciate you all so much. Nadine, Ajinkya, thank you for sharing your insights. Fely, I, of course, love hearing you share about the things that you and your family are learning about. But I think especially as we wrap up May and mental health awareness, this is just evidence that these conversations are so critical and so vital, that we explore and find ways to take care of ourselves. And if you are looking for ways, we have practical tools that these incredible friends have shared today. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And to folks tuning in, we just want to say thank you also. We cannot say thank you enough for all the ways that you empower your communities. And Nadine, Ajinkya, we just appreciate the time, the insight, the expertise, and the love that you have shared today with our community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And as we close today's conversation, and I would like to add that our job as educators is to teach the whole child, right? Mm-hmm. And part of this is ensuring that we're fostering good mental health, not only for our babies, for our students, but for us as well. We as teachers wear so many hats, so we deserve that too. So we need to take care of us so that we can take care of them.
Yep.
Yeah, as you say, there's a reason why on an airplane they tell you to put your own oxygen mask on first, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So if we're well emotionally, then we will be able to provide the support that our students need and our family needs as well. So thank you so much for being here with us. It was an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for our community, and muchísimas gracias. Una conversación excelente como siempre.
Yep. All right. Thank you again, folks. We'll see you down the way. We'll be back in June for some incredible conversations honoring Pride. So we hope to see you at our next community conversation. Bye, everyone.
Gracias.
Gracias.